But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. Well, come on, man. That kid was a cakewalk.
Ain't nothing wrong. Canelo always has had a problem with boxers. He always struggles when he fights a boxer. Anybody knows that if you can box and take a punch, you're going to give him a hard time. Bud is not one of these guys that's going to quit.
Bud Crawford soundly defeating Canelo Alvarez. We thought that maybe he could have won by even a further margin on the scorecards. He gets it done unanimously. Teddy, can you put into words what we just saw from Terence Crawford?
Well, the only thing I wonder is if Crawford was born and made in a laboratory.
Floyd Mayweather didn't hold back after Canelo Alvarez's defeat to Terence Crawford. The retired legend clowned Canelo, saying he's no longer the fighter he once was and claiming that fans have overrated his status for years. Mayweather revealed he had full confidence in Crawford from the start, and proved it by placing a massive bet on him. That gamble paid off big, with one ex-account even sharing a betting slip showing Floyd cashing in $50,000 after Crawford's victory. Meanwhile, despite the setback, Canelo Alvarez carried himself with the poise of a champion. He gave Crawford credit, calling him a great fighter who earned the win, but he also made it clear that he's far from finished. Canelo emphasized that he feels both physically strong and mentally ready for what comes next. Most importantly, he left the door wide open for a rematch with Crawford, a statement that underlines his fighting spirit and determination to protect his legacy.
To him, I feel great to share the ring with great fighters like him. And if we do it again, it's gonna be great. But you know what? I'm glad to share the ring with great fighters. And I'm glad to be here. I already did a lot in boxing.
Ryan Garcia wasted no time reacting to Terence Crawford's dominant win over Canelo Alvarez. Taking to social media, Garcia praised Crawford in the highest way possible, tweeting, "I actually believe Crawford may be the best fighter of all time." For Ryan, what Crawford displayed in the ring wasn't just skill, it was greatness that belongs in the rarest category of boxing history. Veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas also broke down the fight with a pointed comparison. He drew parallels to Canelo's earlier loss against Floyd Mayweather, reminding fans that Alvarez has consistently struggled against fighters who are quicker, sharper, and technically sound. Atlas explained that flaws in Canelo's footwork and hand speed were once again exposed. Despite a year of inactivity, Crawford came in laser-focused, using timing, movement, and ring IQ to neutralize Canelo's power, just as Mayweather's precision once did. For Atlas, this outcome highlights a truth long debated. While Canelo is one of the sport's biggest stars, his weaknesses against elite technical boxers remain. Meanwhile, Crawford's victory doesn't just mark another win, it cements his growing legacy as one of the greatest fighters of his era, and perhaps, as Ryan Garcia suggested, of all time.
From the beginning, that if you go back, and I know it was a lot of years ago, I get it, but you have to have something to point at. If you go back to when he lost his first fight, of course, Canelo I'm talking about, to Mayweather, it wasn't just that his hands were too slow, his feet were too slow. And he's in there with a guy with quick feet and quicker hands. You know what? It doesn't matter how big he is. What did Ali say? Your hands cannot hit what your eyes cannot see. That was tonight. It was great.
Let's put some context on this.
It was great.
Let's put some context on this victory first. A year out of the ring. I think it was like 13 some odd months out of the ring, okay?
Yeah, really?
Yeah. 2 weight classes. Think about that.
Yep.
He had surgery early at the beginning of the year. Surgery on the shoulder surgery, right? Not sure which one. And to come in here and to put on that type of performance against Canelo that actually is coming off a performance, right? You expected Canelo to be sharp. He was sharp. However, what Crawford did was he took the air out of the ball.
Yep.
He used this. That's what boxing's about, people. It's about this. Strategy. That's what he had. He used his feet. He understood Canelo every single movement. That's why Canelo couldn't land any shots on him. He knew what was coming. He knew that the looping right hand was going to come from the southpaw position. So what did he do? Hold the phone. He knew that the hook to the body was going to come. What did he do? Block, and he shot up with counters.
One of his great assets that we don't hear about enough. One of those things that are not so easily as immeasurable on paper, but it's eyes, vision.
Focus.
We know the physical ones we talk about and we understand so easily. Speed, power, quickness, legs, all that stuff. But eyes, radar. This guy's got infrared.
Sports journalist Ariel Helwani was among the first to confirm what millions watching already sensed. Terence Crawford had defeated Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. posting the official scorecards 116 to 112, 115 to 113, 115 to 113. Helwani highlighted how the judges consistently saw Crawford as the man in control. While the margins were close, the outcome reflected a disciplined, calculated performance that left little doubt about who dictated the fight. As Helwani's updates spread across social media, boxing stars and fans alike reacted to the historic result. One of the most notable responses came from Teofimo Lopez, who praised Crawford's composure and execution. For Lopez, this fight wasn't just a showdown between two of the best in the sport. It was the night Crawford proved he belongs among the top 10 greatest fighters of all time. Such recognition from an active champion underscores the magnitude of Crawford's win. It wasn't just another victory, it was a legacy-defining performance that etched his name into boxing history.
His prime, how can you gauge it?
Doesn't matter, we saw a great fight tonight, did we not? That's all that matters. Two guys risked it, and the better man won tonight. That was Crawford.
Terence got it right. Is there no need for a rematch, or do you want to see running back? Because it was pretty good, like you said.
No, it was it was really good, actually.
Yeah.
So it's up to the jam. He's a jam. He can do whatever he wants.
What do you think happens with Canelo next after this?
What happens to Canelo after this? It don't matter. He's made a big statement for not only Mexico or the pride of Mexico, but for all Latinos right there. So he's done a great job for himself, man. Nevertheless, Crawford is on his way, continuing to create greatness.
Mentally.
What's up?
You fought it for Crawford earlier. What did you see to make you fall in like that?
I know boxing. I just know stylistically. I've been in the gym with, I've shared the ring with Canelo, and then I see that. So
they were saying that if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
top 10.
top
10 or top 15,
yeah.
Easily, you know? There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. Simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks, you know?
At the post-fight press conference, Canelo Alvarez made headlines when asked to compare his experiences facing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. His response stunned many. Canelo admitted that while both were elite, it was Crawford who impressed him more, particularly in the late championship rounds, where sharpness and control separate good fighters from great ones. He drove the point home with a bold declaration: "I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather." The statement immediately set off debate across the boxing world. For some fans, it was the ultimate compliment to Crawford's performance, elevating him above a man long regarded as the sport's defensive genius. For others, it reignited the timeless question of how these two legends stack up against each other in boxing history.
World of comparisons that we live in right now. If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
In the aftermath of the defeat, speculation about Canelo Alvarez's future began to swirl. His demeanor and carefully chosen words suggested that retirement could be on his mind, a possibility boxing fans never expected to weigh so soon. For many, the fight wasn't just a loss, it was a schooling. Terence Crawford outthought, out-timed, and out-adapted him, seizing control of the ring and the belts with surgical precision. Crawford's performance is already being etched into history as one of the defining victories of the era, cementing his status as the face of modern boxing and elevating his name among the all-time greats. For Canelo, however, the narrative has shifted. Once the sport's undeniable superstar, he now faces questions about whether his reign at the very top has come to an end, or if he has one last chapter left to write.
Was going to create history. I told you guys this before he fought Sean Porter. I said that Terence Bud Crawford can beat first ballot Hall of Famer and superstar and legend Canelo Alvarez. I've been saying this for years, that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. And tonight, he did just that. He did just that. Not only did he beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, but he arguably retired Canelo Alvarez, who after the fight, Canelo Alvarez stated that he's done everything that he needed to do in the sport of boxing. When asked do he want a rematch with Terence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez said, "It's no need." He gave no indications of a rematch. And Canelo Alvarez stated that he's a Hall of Famer. He's a winner. Just being there made him a winner, right? And he stated that he's done everything he needed to do in the sport of boxing. That's what he said. Canelo Alvarez got schooled once again. I told you guys, styles make fights. This particular style of boxers and counterpunchers and movers has historically given Canelo Alvarez problems. And as I told you guys, right? Terence Crawford can fight any which way he chooses to fight. He's just that much more versatile. And everybody didn't believe me. They said I was tripping. Canelo was too big. He gonna knock out Terence Crawford, right? He too big, too strong. Terence Crawford get hit. Terence Crawford don't box, don't move. And I told you guys, when Terence Crawford wants to move and wants to box, right, he can. And he would, right? And guess what? Terence Crawford, I told you guys, when he fought the likes of Victor Postol, right? Y'all said that, oh, he don't move that much. I said, did you look at his fight with Victor Postol? Did you look at his fight with Jose Benavidez? Yeah, well, those guys ain't Canelo Alvarez. And I told you guys, it doesn't matter if they're Canelo Alvarez. It's about Terence Crawford's ability to be able to maneuver around and box in every which manner he so chooses. If he wants to incorporate that style that he boxes and moves, he could. And what did he do tonight? I said Terence Crawford could fight at every level. Didn't I tell you guys that? I said Terence Crawford can fight in mid-range. He could fight on the outside. He could fight on the inside. Canelo Alvarez cannot. Y'all asked me, why aren't you talking about what Canelo Alvarez could do great? And I told you, because we know what Canelo Alvarez is going to do. He's going to fight. He's consistent in who he is and how he fights. Period. I told you guys that.
Boxing legend Andre Ward wasted no time putting Terence Crawford's performance into perspective. He described it as nothing short of a historic victory, the kind of generational fight that fans will remember for decades. Ward stressed that nights like these are what define careers, the moments that separate great fighters from true legends. What impressed him most was Crawford's ability to dismantle Canelo while remaining poised and disciplined from the opening bell to the championship rounds. For Ward, that composure and ring intelligence elevated the win into a GOAT-level moment. By framing the performance this way, Ward didn't just praise Crawford, he placed him firmly in the conversation of the greatest fighters of all time, underlining the gravity of what had just unfolded inside the ring.
Terence Crawford, greatness, and beat Canelo Alvarez tonight. What was your thoughts on that performance from Terence?
Well, Terence Crawford, is great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight. And he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turki Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people call me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there, the power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I say?
What would you like to see him do next? Do you think there's another fight after this?
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing?
Rising star Keyshawn Davis, who openly views Terence Crawford as both a mentor and an inspiration, reacted with pure excitement and pride. He called Crawford one of the GOATs, a title that young fighters rarely use so freely unless the performance truly demands it. Davis praised the way Crawford executed his game plan with surgical precision, never allowing Canelo to settle into a rhythm. For him, this wasn't just about Crawford winning another fight, it was about proving to the boxing world that true greatness is built on skill, intelligence, and relentless hard work. His reaction captured more than admiration. It reflected how deeply this victory resonates with the next generation of fighters, many of whom aspire to follow the exact path Crawford has paved.
Bro. Yes, sir.
What do you think made the difference?
The speed, really.
Yeah.
I think it was the main factor. Canelo couldn't really keep up with him. He was too fast. His feet, footwork was too good.
Do you think the scores was right on, or do you think maybe it was a little more towards Bud?
What was the scorecards?
115, 113, 116, 112.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I feel like Bud damn near basically won every round. So
yeah.
Honestly. But yeah, that's about right. You can say that.
Now, with this accomplishment, Keyshawn, is he on the Mount Rushmore of
Hell
boxers?
Yeah. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
3-time undisputed. He just beat Canelo.
Yeah.
The face of boxing. So now you can say Bud is the face of boxing.
Greatest of all time, or?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it can never be one great, but he definitely one of the greatest of all time, for sure.
Former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis delivered a brutally honest assessment of the fight. He questioned how any judge could have awarded 5 rounds to Canelo, stressing that Crawford was clearly the more effective fighter from start to finish. Lewis pointed out a familiar theme in Canelo's career, his struggles against mobile, technically sharp opponents. In this bout, Crawford's agility and movement once again proved to be the deciding factor. While Lewis admitted he had anticipated more explosive exchanges, he still praised the technical brilliance that unfolded. His critique underscored not only the flaws in Canelo's style, but also the way Crawford's adaptability and ring IQ completely neutralized the Mexican champion's offense.
Let me tell you, great fight. I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. He tried his best. He always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. What can you say?
This reminds me of the point that Jaya Patai made yesterday, and you picked up on it. He said he's coming in with all his belts. Terence looks like he's still hungry, and Canelo looks like he's whining and dining in his success. Do you think that might be the difference tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it was a little bit of difference. The cat has got really fat, so he tried his best. I've seen Canelo box about many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. Anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him.
The scorecards were 2 red, 115, 113. Were they right with the cards?
It was for Canelo to win a round. I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and never got hit, and threw combinations, because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was throwing a lot of punches, a lot of combinations.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr., himself regarded as one of the most skilled fighters in history, admitted he was stunned by what he saw. He praised Crawford's victory as a beautiful performance, a perfect blend of skill, patience, and strategy. Jones noted that Canelo has long struggled with opponents who rely on speed and movement, and once again, that weakness was exposed. Crawford's ability to exploit those vulnerabilities left Canelo without answers. For Jones, this wasn't just a win, it was a systematic dismantling of Canelo's style. His assessment adds weight to the growing consensus that Crawford's performance was not only dominant, but also technically brilliant, leaving no doubt about who the better fighter was that night.
It's a beautiful performance, exactly what I expected. All I want to see was Pete take the punch. If he take the punch, we knew what was going to happen from that point.
Did you expect him to trade with Canelo like that on the inside?
Yes, we spoke on the airplane going to Dubai.
Yeah.
The only thing I told him was that you could not give Canelo the center of the ring. And earlier you gave it to him, but then you started outboxing him and outsmarting him with it, and he started taking it back at the right time. So he studied his film very well. He knew when to fight, when to move left and when to move right. It was a very smart fight. He completely frustrated Canelo.
Did you score it, Roy?
Huh?
Did you score it?
No, I didn't score it, but I think probably something like 8-4.
8-4?
Yep.
What do you think should happen next, Roy?
I have no clue.
Crawford put himself amongst the all-time greats like yourself with that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
5-weight world champion,
Yes.
3-weight undisputed champion.
Yes.
Where are you putting him in the all-time list?
Hard to beat that.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, breakdowns, and reactions from the world of boxing. Until next time, take care and keep watching the fight game unfold.